So the first episode, I think like we were going back and forth on what we wanted to do or what we wanted to say. And I think the best way to start anything is just to be as honest as you can so that people know exactly where you're starting from. And I'm starting from a very raw and real and personal space. So I'm going to talk about today, I forgot the title. The real reason I kept going even when I wanted to quit. And I know that that sounds very generic, but it's such a real moment and it's such a real thing for so many leaders and for so many CEOs and people who are managing other people, people who are trying to manage a side hustle and a business and a family life and a dating life or anything for that matter. There's so many moments where you want to quit, and there's so many moments where you have to understand why you're still doing it. So I'm gonna get real with y'all, and it's gonna be fun. So let's get ready. Let's get ready. This is when Frank starts putting all the promos and all this stuff around me. There's so many versions of myself that almost didn't make it to this chair, and so many versions of myself that wasn't ready to share a lot of failures or a lot of success stories because I thought I was either gonna get judged for failure or judged for success, and that's something so common that we all deal with. And I think I came to a point in my life where I'm ready to share the good, the bad, the ugly, as cheesy and cliche as that sounds. There's times where I almost quit on not just being a mom, obviously, because I can't quit on that or quit in business, but there's a lot of times where I quit on myself. So this episode is to talk about what kept me grounded during those moments. As an 18-year-old, as a 21-year-old, 25-year-old, life is so different when you're doing business as a 30-something-year-old and very different in the world that we're in right now. So my whole point in this episode is to explain to you my why and why I continue going all in, even when it's cost me time with family, even when it's cost me time with my children, or when it's cost me even my personal time or my personal space. My daughter comes to the office with me all the time. And one of the days that she was here, I usually always do kind of like a call, like, hello, or like, Heidi, and she like responds. So I know she's alive and I know she's somewhere in the building and she's doing something and she's not making a mess. So one of the days that I was here, I was like, Heidi, and she's like, I'm working. And I was like, what? And it was funny in the moment and it was hilarious. And I kept going back and forth. And if you see my IG, you'll see that there's many times that I'll put her on and she's like working or something. So I think it hit me really hard on the ride home when I was like, what were you doing? She's like, I'm working. And I was like, okay, what were you working on? She's like, oh, I was working so that, I can have a nice birthday party and this and that. And she's like you, mommy. And it like whoosh, like slapped me in the face. Because I realized in that moment that she wanted to become me. And I didn't feel like I was any good of a version of myself. I feel like I was probably one of the most roughest seasons in my life. And this wasn't the version of me that I wanted her to become. I definitely don't feel like I was ready to hear that, but I don't know. It made this podcast even more personal to me because business is personal. That's why we're here, the business of becoming, because I want to become the best version of myself with my baby watching me, and I want her to be not the version that I am today, but the version that I'm becoming, which is always going to be something better. So on this podcast, we will talk about scaling business. We'll talk about everything that's going to really help you advance your career or advance your position in your company. But you got to understand that you need to do that with people. And sometimes people need to see your vulnerability in order to actually know that they're being led by a human and not by someone who's just doesn't care and is just fixated on a dollar price or money or something. So this brings me to my next story that it's such a difficult place to talk about, but I think it's very important to share. About a year ago, I made probably one of the most difficult decisions that I ever had to do and ended up what was doing right for me and my kids and myself and decided to become a single mom. At that point, I felt kind of like ashamed, and it's a weird place because, like I said, many people, they looked up to me, they looked up to different, things in my life, and I didn't know how to face that I was making a decision to do that. I just remember that as I was going through the motions and the process of like, okay, this is a decision that I'm making because it's right for me and it's right for my children, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out how this is going to work and how this is going to make sense for me. I kind of shut down. And again, this is not normal, or this is probably normal for many leaders and whatnot, but so many of us decide to just fabricate our face and fabricate like our life and make it look like we're perfect and we're fine. And like, it doesn't matter if the world is falling and the sky is falling. Like, we've got a business to run, money doesn't stop. And that's true. Like, legit, it's true. Bills don't stop. Your mortgages are going to stop. People's mortgages aren't going to stop. They're not going to stop getting late notices. Like, you got to work. And that's true to a point, but we're freaking human. And sometimes we don't know what grief looks like to everybody. And honestly, I made probably one of the scariest decisions of my life. And I also was probably one of the most vulnerable places with my staff, but it took time. I didn't do it right off the bat because I wasn't trying to do it emotionally. So it took me 2 months almost to get back into my office and to face the people that have helped me live my life and have helped me build this company. And I just remember that I pumped the brakes, and thankfully, two of my like just amazing people stepped up for me in every which way, not knowing what the hell's going on. Um, but I remember coming back, and I had to make a really ballsy decision, and I had to make a really scary decision as a leader, and that was to get up close and personal and real with not everyone on our team, but definitely those pillars and those people that were helping me keep it going and push the ball forward. So I took, some of my, lead managers and um, some of my supervisors, and I sat with them one by one in different settings. And I just remember telling them, like, hey, this version of me that you guys always look up to, that you guys have admired, that you guys have like followed, that you guys have listened to, like, she's going through a divorce. And it's going to be really hard for me to be that strong, empowering, courageous leader that's like, we ride at dawn, like, it's going to be tough for me some days. But there's also going to be those days that I have there's going to be times where I have those days and I'm going to be like, we're going all in, and there's going to be days where I'm going to be leading you from a place where I am broken and I'm trying to piece myself together in whatever which way I can. And man, that was the coolest thing I think I've ever done as a leader. As scary as it was the coolest thing I've ever done, because I saw the people who have lived and built life with me. Some of them stood by me and just said, like, you got this, we got this, like, you're okay. Some of them cried and sat down with me and cried with me. Some of them hugged me and just lifted me up. They were just there, you know? And I saw that not just in those moments, but I saw that in the times afterward where they were there. They picked up the ball when I couldn't pick it up for myself. They were there when I had to go and, like, pick up my daughter now from school because she never went to school. But hey, mommy has to work now, and like, I don't have time. So now you're in school. Our whole life's changed, and now school's a thing. So I'm leaving the office at 2:30, and I would see them just like, yeah, go pick up the baby. We got this. Like, blah 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 blah, and making things happen. Like, it changed my perspective of leading. It changed my perspective of being a leader, a boss. It really made me feel like my team was in this process with me without being in every fine detail, but they were just there with me. They were there to encourage me when I couldn't encourage myself. They were there to remind me that I still got this. So I want to just share that part because it's probably one of the most vulnerable things I've said on camera. But understand that you guys might be going through something either similar, or maybe you're going through a very personal season, And you don't have to share with your entire staff, because that's not what I'm saying at all. Many people just use this for gossip and achievement. But those people that are building with you, sometimes people are put in our lives for a reason. And most of my staff have been with me for years. And to me, I feel like I owe it to myself to be honest as a leader. I owe it to myself to be honest as a boss, because I don't want them to follow a version of me that's broken and that is trying to, create a facade that I'm perfect. I want them to follow me because I'm being real and I'm being honest and I'm sharing my failures and showing how I'm overcoming them. Because we're all going to go through failures and we're all going to go through things that suck. And we're all going to be like, why me? Like, why the hell am I dealing with this? Why am I going through this? And sometimes you just need people who are going to be there for you. No questions asked. We're just there. And I found that in my team. I found that in my staff. I found that in my family. Um, and this is also my chosen family, the people that do life with me. So I had many times I wanted to quit, several. And I never wanted to quit on being a mom. I never wanted to quit on being a leader or a boss or being the owner of like PCS. But I did want to quit on myself. And people have kept me together. The people around me have helped me and reminded me that this is bigger than me, that I don't lead just because I want to make money and be super rich. I lead because this is my purpose. I lead because I love to build and edify people. I lead because it fills me with joy when I see the people that have worked with me for years, find their wives or buy the car of their dreams, or, buy the house of their dreams. Like, it fills me with joy that I was even a tiny bit in that process for them. That's what I love. I love that. And that's me. So I'm opening up and I'm sharing with you guys probably some of the craziest stories that I've never shared, because maybe we would have gotten canceled if we shared it at that time. I'm just sharing everything that I think really made a difference in my life and has helped me get to the point that I am successful, and I want to be more successful, but I also want to help others build success. I'm not the smartest in the room. I'm not the wealthiest in the room, but I've damn sure been through a lot of struggles, and I've seen a lot of success, and I've overcome a lot of failures that I know many people can learn from. So in the next couple episodes, we're going to stop talking about being sad, and we're going to stop talking about all the like depressing blah blah blah. Like, unless you really want to hear it, then whatever. I'm not kidding. But yeah, the next couple episodes we're going to talk about a lot more directed towards business and directed towards how to scale, marketing, all the tips and tricks that I've learned that have helped me. And there will be some episodes that are personal, and if you want to hear more of the personal side, cool. Like, I don't know what it's like to date as a 31-year-old. Sheesh. That's scary altogether as a single mom. So if you got any tips, drop them in the comment. And if not, just like and subscribe anyways, because this is going to be probably the coolest thing I have ever done, and a journey that I am so excited to share with everyone, because I'm becoming someone completely different in front of everybody. And I think I like her. I think I do. So I'll see you guys on the next couple episodes. And we'll see each other there.